Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today at Dynomega's Fishing School, I will give you a guided tour through the entire fishing quest chain, giving you my tips every step of the way. A common question I am seeing goes something sort of like this.
Hey Dyno, what is the point of doing the fishing quest chain? I already have a fishing rod and I know how to get bait. Isn't that good enough? Timmy.
Well, Timmy, that is definitely good enough to get started, but if you want to become a master of fishing, you really need to step up your game and get some decent gear. That outfit you're wearing, that's just not going to cut it. And that fishing pole, it may be good enough for first light, but if you want to maximize your chance of catching legendaries, you're really going to need to get a much better one. The good news is, there's an easy way to get all these upgrades. You just got to do different fishing jobs for the Fisherman Guild across the world. Most of these jobs are pretty straightforward, but some of them can be tricky, especially at a low level. Walk with me, Timmy. It all starts in Windsward. Quest number 1, Fishing with Shields. Here we are with Michael Shields at the lake outside of the Windsward settlement. His quest will become available to you as soon as you turn in the first starter quest on the beach.
Hello, I'm Master Fisher Shields. Ahoy there! Before you get to the adventure and the glory, you'll need to learn how to fill your belly with the bounty of the sea. First, you'll need some bait. Some of the most readily available bait are woodlice, creepy, crawly creatures that live in bushes. The rest you can get through various other means.
Alright, so this is pretty straightforward. Michael just wants us to collect some woodlouse bait. These little buggers have a pretty bad drop rate though, so you might have to pick up a bunch of bushes before you find all 5. And don't worry about the briar or the bulrushes, you're not going to find any woodlouse baits on them. They're just on the bushes. So run around like a madman, ripping all the bushes out of the ground, and when you have your 5 woodlouse baits, return to Michael to complete the quest, and he'll give you a wooden fishing pole as a reward.
Woodlice draw in larger fish, and believe you me, size matters. Beside that though, there's still some more basics I want to impart to you, Skipper.
Quest number 2, Fishing Basics. Now, our next quest in the chain also starts at Michael, and it'll become available to you as soon as you turn the first quest in.
How goes your fishing? Let's get in on the action now. Fishing involves 3 basic steps: casting, hooking, and reeling the sucker in. It may take some getting used to, but once you get into the pattern, you can go for hours non-stop. If you can catch 3 fish, take them and go show Ruby and Everfall what old Shields taught you.
This one's pretty easy too. You just need to cast, hook, and reel in 3 fish. We can do all this at the dock right next to Michael. And after you catch your 3 fish, head to the west border of Everfall where you can turn in the quest at Ruby.
You got these fish yourself? Shields was right to send you in my direction to continue your training. I've got so much to teach you.
For a reward, Ruby will give you a pair of battered fisherman's boots. And these are just cosmetic, but don't worry, we'll get a better pair with some fishing perks on them soon enough. Now as we move forward, these quests are going to get harder, but I also want to make a suggestion, and that's to hold on to all the fish you catch, because one of the later quests is going to require us to provide a lot of fillets. So it's better to hold on to our fish that we catch now, so it saves us a little bit of time later. Quest number 3, Baited. At this point, Ruby will provide us with our next job.
I'm Master Fisher Ruby. Are you new to fishing? In freshwater, the more common baits you can acquire are snails, and in ocean water, clams. My colleague in First Light, Master Fisher Clemenson, would greatly appreciate this ocean water bait being delivered to her. Don't tell her I said this, but she's been having some trouble getting bites lately.
This seems to be the first one people have trouble with, and it might just be because they leave the area before they catch the fish. You can catch both clams as well as snails in First Light. This is where we have to turn in the quest. I recommend fishing out of the hotspots if they are up, and make sure you're using a rarity boosting bait. With this combination, you should catch both of these pretty quick. Clams in the saltwater and aquatic snails in the freshwater. Once you catch both, go ahead and salvage them, then head over to Clemenson in First Light. They can be found along the shoreline in the middle of the map, near the big balls. And for your reward, you'll be given the cosmetic fishing gloves. Quest number 4, Hotspot Hunt. Clemenson gives us our next quest, which is to catch 3 fish in a hotspot.
Hello there. I am Master Fisher Clemenson. I can teach you much. Here's a lesson. Have you ever seen a spot in the water that looks like it would be prime for fishing? These are called hotspots. Try your luck in these hotspots, and then take this. It's a message from me to Master Fisher Warwick. It is imperative that you do not open this note.
Closest option to our current location is by following the shoreline north, just south of Hoff Point. There's a dock over there with a 1-star saltwater hotspot just at the end of it. Our second closest option is at the lake at Hatchburg Fishery, just to the west of the First Light settlement. Between the two houses, there's a small dock, and next to it is a 1-star freshwater hotspot. And when you get to a hotspot, make sure you land your bobber in the hotspot pool. If you don't see landing in hotspot next to your bobber, it won't count. The hotspot pool is easy to spot when they're up. You'll see fish jumping out of it. When they're down, it'll just look like a disturbance in the water. And when they're not available, that just means somebody fished in it recently. It'll take about 10 to 15 minutes to respawn for these two. And I suggest if they're not up, just to work on your fishing skill at one of these locations until they pop. And once you catch your 3 fish, head to Quentin on the west side of Monarch's Bluff.
A note from Master Fisher Clemenson. Please put it down right there. No, my hands are too dirty to touch it right now, but thank you.
Your reward is a pair of battered fisherman trousers. I suggest giving these a good wash before breaking them in. Quest number 5, Practice Makes Perfect. Quentin gives us a pretty straightforward quest, and that's just to catch 15 fish.
Greetings, I am Master Fisher Warwick. What have you got there? Now, the best training is hard, focused doing. You've fished up some bait and a few meager samplings of fish, but I want you to fully commit to catching 15 fish. Master Fisher Perchel can be distracted easily and forgets to eat. Take your fish to her and she will be grateful.
You can catch these fish anywhere, even right next to Quentin. There's actually a hotspot that spawns right next to him. If it's available, fish your 15 fish out of there. Hey, you might catch a good rare or two that'll fetch you some decent coin back in town. After catching your 15 fish, you're going to head on over to Edith. They can be found at the north end of Cutlass Keys near the water.
Did you see that?
And you'll be rewarded with the cosmetic battered fisherman's hat for turning this one in. Quest number 6, the giant ones. Edith will give us our next task, which is to catch 8 big ones, 20 inches or larger.
Oh! Did I tell you about the one that got away? The bait, of course. Yes, she's researching what bait can reel in the longest fish.
And you can fish up these ones right next to Edith, or head to your favorite fishing spot. It will be a bit of a grind to get all 8. But if you have any sort of size boosting baits handy, such as clam bait or aquatic snail bait, or anything better, now's the time to use them. Make sure you head to the right water type for the bait you're using though, and aim for the deep waters. Catch your fish and then head to Park to complete this quest. Park is located at one of the lakes in northeast Brightwood.
Multiply by 3, carry the 1.
And you will be rewarded the final cosmetic piece, the battered fisherman's smock. Oh, that's a funny word, huh? Quest number 7, Fish Regents. Park gives us the next quest, which is to catch a hooked squid and a barbed catfish.
Salutations. Various fish, when properly salvaged, have parts that can be used in alchemy. Everything on this island thrums with the power of Azoth, the fish included.
These are special quest fish, and you should be able to catch them pretty quick at the lake Park is standing at. Once you catch them, salvage both and head to Sheetle, who can be found in Weaver's Fen near the border of Restless Shores.
New way to salvage catfish and squids? Why, this is brilliant news.
And you'll be rewarded with the Fishing Reward Box 1. Inside this box you'll get either the Hardy Fisherman's gloves or the Hardy Fisherman's boots. Both of which have perks to boost cast distance and your chance to catch bigger fish. See, Timmy, I told you the upgrades would start to come in, and they're only going to get better from here. Quest number 8, Real Life.
Peace and good day. Shoes are most often lost to the swamp's bull. Once you've helped clean up the fen, go see Master Fisher O'Connor.
Sheetal wants us to clean up the local swamp. We can do our part by fishing up 3 boots. And you can fish these 3 boots up right next to Sheetal. This time don't use any fishing baits. We have a much better chance of catching junk items like boots when we don't use any bait at all. After catching your boots, head on over to Master Fisher O'Connor. You can find O'Connor on a small island in the southeast corner of Restless Shores.
I love to fish more than I love to fight nowadays, though I still do a fair bit of the latter.
And once you turn in this quest, you'll be given the fishing reward box too. Inside you'll find either a hardy fisherman's hat or a pair of hardy fisherman's trousers. And these items will have the perks to boost your chance to catch better and bigger fish. At this point, the quests are really going to start to ramp up in difficulty. And the quests do warn us with a recommended level, but it's not required. I was able to complete the entire quest chain at level 26, and it was a real challenge getting from point to point. If you're already higher level, then kudos to you. This is one less thing you'll have to worry about. But for the rest of us, I highly recommend getting your character level high enough so you can put enough points into your health pool to prevent you from being one-shot while running for your life through these harder zones. I recommend getting your health pool to at least 3k before attempting these next quests. Quest number 9, Weapons of the Sea. O'Connor wants us to catch some more salvage, a fish sword and a fish head hammer.
Not that I have any intentions of fighting you. That would be foolish. The fish sword and the fish head hammer are folk legends here. Well, I may have dashed my credibility.
You can catch both of these right next to O'Connor. Like our previous quest, make sure you're not using any baits to boost your chance of catching junk. And once you catch both, head to Taruku and Morningdale. This is where it'll start to get rough. You know, as I mentioned, you may need to gain a few levels before heading out there. But you can find Taruku at a lake just northeast of the settlement. Taruku will give you the Hardy Fisherman Smock, which has a boost to chance of catching better fish, as well as a boost to your cast distance. Quest number 10, Treasures of the Deep.
I'm Master Fisher Baby of Morningdale. I can train you in the ways of fishing. In this land, where rain pours eternal, there are many opportunities for fishing. Coins, jewels, and all kinds of precious artifacts.
For our next quest, Taruku wants us to reel in a treasure chest. This is great news to me. I know a thing or two about treasure chests. Now, you can catch treasure chests anywhere, but the easiest place to fish them up is in a secret or rare hotspot. There's actually a 2-star hotspot that spawns right next to Taruku at this little lake, and if it's up, I suggest fishing in that. Use rarity boosting baits. And if you have the Azoth to spare, go ahead and just travel to your favorite fishing spot if it's not available. Otherwise, I would suggest just fishing wherever you can to catch a treasure chest. It shouldn't take too long. Just make sure you're using rarity boosting bait. Now once you reel in your chest, head on over to Master Fisher Claws, who can be found at Glass Lake and Great Cleave.
Hello there.
And completing this quest will reward you with the Tier 5 Ironwood Fishing Pole. This pole, however, requires you to be level 60 to equip it, so it might be some time before we can put this to use. Quest number 11, Soulwarden Rations. And the next quest in our chain is from Claws.
I see you've recently been fishing up treasure chests.
But watch out, the animals are real jerks in this region.
I see you've recently been fishing up treasure chests for Master Baby. The Soul Wardens are hearty eaters. You would be hungry if you were fighting corruption the way the Soul Wardens do.
Claws wants us to catch 5 really big ones, 30 pounds or greater. Now Glass Lake isn't going to cut it for this quest. I recommend heading back south to Cutlass Keys and fishing the saltwater. Down there we can fish up swordfish, and they get really big. Even some of the medium swordfish will be big enough for this quest. And we'll be able to use the swordfish later on, so... Once again, you will want to make sure you are using whatever size boosting bait you can get your hands on. And if you are going for the swordfish, a hotspot will help boost our chances since it's a rare fish. Once you catch your 150 pounds of fish, head on over to Rory in Eden Grove. He can be found at one of the lakes near the middle of the map, not too far from the road. This is a very dangerous region though, so you have to be extra sneaky if you're below the recommended level.
Aye, that's it. Come to Papa, we little fishes. I didn't see you there.
For your efforts, you'll be rewarded with the sleek fisherman's hat. Quest number 12, Azoth Tinged Fish.
Very well, very well. Oh, mythical creatures as well, like the Azoth tinged fish. Oh, well, it's a fish whose entire essence has been possessed and imbued with the magical powers of Azoth.
Rory wants us to catch an Azoth tinned fish in Eden Grove. You catch this fish in the lake right next to Rory. Although it is a bit of a rare fish, it might take some time to catch it. It took me about 20 minutes to hook and reel this one in. But once you catch a fish, head on over to Master Fisher Bernard in Shattered Mountains. If you're low level, you're really going to have to do some work sneaking your way to him. Make sure you set up camps along the way. And Bernard will reward you with the Fishing Reward Box 3.
I assume you're the new fisher who...
You'll get one of the sleek fisherman's set pieces from this chest, but don't worry, you won't get the hat again. It's not part of the loot table. Quest number 13, Corruption Tinged Fish.
I'm Master Fisher Bernard, by the way. Yeah.
Bernard was so impressed with our Azoth tinned fish that he now thinks we have what it takes to catch the Corruption Tinged Fish. And we can catch this fish right at the lake next to Bernard. And since I'm a low level, I'm just going to hide under this dock here so these nature puppies don't eat my face. It took me about 5 minutes to catch this one. And once you catch it, head on over to Master Fisher Chang, located in the settlement in Ebonscale Reach.
What is it that you bring with you, traveler?
And if Master Chang is impressed with your fish, he'll give you a Fishing Reward Box number 4. In this box, you'll find either the Fierce Fisherman's Gloves or the Fierce Fisherman's Boots. Quest number 14, Ecological Report. Master Chang wants to see if we have what it takes to even approach the Grand Master Machera. And to do this, we have to come up with a full menu of fish fillets for them. 25 of each of the 4 types.
I'm Master Fisher Chang, and fishing is my game. I want to do a survey of the fish in other areas to make sure they haven't progressed like the one you brought from Shattered Mountain. Machera can catch a fish while bound and blindfolded.
If you've been holding on to all the fish we've caught through this point, great, you're ready for this one, but hold on, don't start salvaging just yet. First, let's make sure you get the most out of your salvaging. Piece yourself together a set of gear or reset your attributes so you can allocate 100 points into focus. This will unlock the bonus that gives you the plus 10% salvaging yield, and this just means you get more fillets for your fish. And once you unlock this perk, salvage all the fish you have. But if you don't have enough fish to complete this quest, you'll need to keep fishing until you do. And if you're short on time or just don't have the patience, there's always the trading post. For delicate fish fillets, you can catch stingrays in saltwater and spear-toothed shark in freshwater. Both of these are in Ebonscale Reach. And if you're looking for a little bit easier region to navigate through, I suggest heading back down to Cutlass Keys for the swordfish. All 3 of these are rare fish, so secret and rare hotspots are going to be the best place to fish them up in these regions. Both swordfish and spear-toothed shark also have a decent source for tender fish fillets. And for firm and regular fish fillets, any common fish will do. And you probably catch more than you need while you're fishing for these remaining delicate and tender ones. And you can always use my fishing cheat sheet if you need more options for finding the different fish for the fish fillets. And if you don't have my cheat sheet, you can find a link to it in the description of this video. And once you have your 100 fillets, head on over to meet the Grand Master in Reekwater. He can be found along the road just southeast of the settlement.
Greetings, young one.
And you'll get a Fishing Reward Box number 5. And inside this, you'll find a Fierce Fisherman's hat, the smock, and the trousers. Yep, you'll get all 3 from this box. Quest number 15, to be a Grandmaster.
You must be one with the fish, one with the waters. You must learn to think like a fish. Listen to the fish. Hear what they have to say.
Now Machera is going to give you your last and final task, and that's going to be to reach level 100 fishing skill. Now at this point I suggest going to your favorite 1-star or 2-star hotspot and get comfortable. I suggest using rarity boosting baits because the higher rarity fish will give you more experience. And the reason I suggest a 1-star or 2-star hotspot is just because of the number of fish you can catch in them, as well as their respawn timers. It just isn't efficient to level your fishing skill this way in a 3-star one. And during open beta, once I hit 100, the quest did not complete. If this is still the case after launch, don't freak out, just keep fishing. It will complete at 101. And once it completes, go ahead and head on back to Grandmaster Machera to turn it in. And for all your efforts, you'll be rewarded with the legendary pole reward box.
At last you are one with the fish.
In this box, you'll find one of 4 legendary fishing poles. At this time of creating this video, you did not get to choose the pole, it was random, and the poles had different perks. The pole has a gear score of 600 and a cast distance of 20 meters. This is the top of the line pole right here. Use it wisely, and don't salvage it. And there you have it, that's my guide through the fishing quest chain. If you made it this far, you should have some pretty decent fishing gear by now. You know, this quest chain does a good job at taking you all over the map. I suggest while you're out there, look for fishing spots that you really like. That way, when you're on that grind from 100 to 200, you have some good places picked out that you can cycle between. And make sure you check the description if you're watching this after launch. If there's any updates, I'll be sure to post them down there. I hope this helped. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.